We have our first Groom, and I'm so happy for Marth, but let's see how things pan out. Let's get his digits, and he's very comparable to his Sword Lord variant, actually, as far as stats go. He's the fastest green horse unit we have. He is really weak on the attack, actually. Titania is the only one who is lower than that, but she had an abysmal attack to begin with, so we're not doing too great there. Otherwise, we do have a good defense in general, and our resistance isn't bad for this class of units, so we do have a lot going for us as far as that goes. Well, you know what, let's just go ahead and take a look at what he swings with. First thing we have is Ardent Service Plus. Yes, it's an inheritable axe, it's a cake server. And so, with this particular weapon, it gives you this nice benefit of being able to buff yourself and your allies with +4 attack as long as they're standing next to you. I really want to see a revamped version of Hone Skills do this. Oh, that would just be so amazing if there was a new C slot that was basically Hone Plus. That's what I want to see, because that's so needed. Now, despite the fact that I want to see that skill, the problem I have with this is that on Marth, this basically makes him a mixed team unit, and it makes sense, right? Sita was in last year's banner, Marth is in this year's, not banner, Tempest Trial, but regardless, you know, mixed team, it makes sense. But if you put him in a horsey team, Hone Horsies exists. It's there. You don't need to have this on him. It's not going to give any benefit, or unless you like really diverge and do something weird, then sure. But usually in an emblem team, you're going to keep everybody remotely close so you can give everybody the buffs that they need. And so having Marth standing there with that extra +4 in a horsey team makes no sense. Sorry about that digression. Needed to talk about that. Let's continue. He has a great rally skill, dual rally, giving him speed and defense, and that's crucial because speed and defense is important if you're trying to block a lot of the fast melee people. You want to have a little more speed and a little more defense. So the defense helps make sure that you don't get bodied from big, like Nova Strike kind of hits. And then speed is important because you just don't want to get double tapped, because yeah, that's pretty brutal. He has Wings of Mercy, very typical in support build setups, where he'll be able to teleport to a friend who's down on luck. By down on luck, I mean low on hit points. And then he has Drive Attack too, and this is inheritable at 4 stars, so if you're not excited about Groom Marth, I don't know why you're watching this video, but you can fodder him off for something very useful for your team. Let's go ahead and go into the build, and the first build is a budget build, as usual. I just like to go ahead and tweak things a little bit. If you just need something for the rest of the Tempest Trial, for Arena Assault, then here's what you could do. Like I said, he's good for mixed team support. I mean, he's going to be giving people +7 with his default kit to attack. He can give someone else +3 to speed and defense. It's great. He's lacking on the damage department, so Moonbow is going to help even some of that out. He has enough speed to be able to double several units that are important, so going with that isn't a bad idea. His A slot in this particular case, though, does need a little bit of help if you want him to continue to get rid of some of these units. He can't kill every blue mage, believe it or not, on his own. He needs some kind of help, and so you could either buff him, which is fine, or you could just go and give him Darting Blow. Darting Blow is going to give him the umph that he needs to be able to get in there on initiation, not take that double, and also provide the double when needed. So I think that it's a very good idea, so you can go ahead and go with that. There's a few other A-slot options you can do, and we're going to see and talk about them going forward into the full builds. But before we go into the full builds, I want to talk real quick about the Woodax, the giant spoon. It's on a seasonal unit. You're not going to see it in any of these builds that I have here, because to be frank with you, it's not doing any better for him than a refined... the refined Woodax isn't doing any better for him, even with the pop of damage, than a cake server. It just isn't. I wish it was. I really wish it was, because the rest of his stats are good, but when it comes down to it, he's not the damage dealer. Just keep the spoon on your tool-looking Alphonse, and then keep the cake server on Marth. That reminds me, I'm very happy that Marth has gotten in alt, I'm happy that Marth is a Groom. It's very fitting for him. Congratulations to Marth. But if you want to know my whole thoughts on Marth alts, check out the card right now. And if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and watch that video. You'll get where I'm coming from. So let's go ahead and talk about this first full build. And here we're going to talk about the A slot first. We're keeping Moonbow, and the A slot is Death Blow. Now, Death Blow is good for him if you refined his weapon with plus speed. And in this case, I'm assuming that we do, because that gives you the most dividends on an aggressive build, which you can see that's what this is. It's trying to be support, but have a really strong emphasis on offense. You could also do the same thing with life and death and just say forget defenses, and that's how I'm going to finish evaluating this, because it is that much extra aggression. But I will tell you that if you have darting blow fodder, then you don't have to refine it, the weapon for speed. If you don't and you want to go with death blow, that's fine, refine the weapon for speed, and that'll even things out for you. The rest of this kid is, I mean, he still has his drive skill in C, but he has chill defense. And so that's sort of a big ask, but if you really like your Marth and you want him to be super aggressive, this is the best way to go. I mean, 7 damage is 7 damage. 20 bucks is 20 bucks, am I right? And so if you do this, I do calculate everything going forward with this build as if that's being affected on the unit. And, well, let's just go ahead and go right into the obituaries featuring the DPT, Deltran's PvP threats. This is all reflected with chill defense. And I think it's important that it is, because you're not going to use a character that has so much support as something to dive in and kill in the battlefield without it being meaningful. And so I think it's fair in this particular case. By the way, link in the doobly-doo for all the units within Deltran's PvP threat list, all the killer builds that I use to help evaluate these types of matchups. It's just a win-loss record, and you can see 22 wins is actually acceptable, especially for a unit that is mostly mostly supportive. But of course, we have leaned hard, very hard with life and death into the offense here. And so if you go with this particular build, you have a lot of units you're getting rid of, and the big ones that I'm happy about is you're getting rid of Myr, you're getting rid of Naui. The big losses here is that we can't handle green armor, including Grima. There's something you could do to help take care of Grima, but I wouldn't make him your Grima counter. But otherwise, the Hectors, Sheena's a different story. She's a weird one, but, you know, just stay away from green armor. That's my advice with this. Otherwise, I mean, you're taking care of a lot of blue, and it is wonderful. Even on retaliation, you can catch Naui. I mean, obviously, you can catch the generically built Naui, but you can also handle rather well clever builds of Naui, and you could stave off Faye as well and kill Myr. I mean, Myr is just dead, and all the popular stuff, Myr is dead. I think that's very important. So that is one thing that we have going for us right there. Let's go ahead and go into the last build that I have for Marth here, because this is a little bit more supportive and it is a lot more defensive focused. We're going to go ahead and give him Fury 3, because if you need him to defend or initiate, giving him stats all across the board is worth it. So I mean, like, if you have Vanilla Marth standing next to this Marth, that bonus that his sword's going to give him is going to give you so much return on value, because all of Marth's stats, Horsey Marth's stats, are so high for the most part that giving them a couple of extra points to any of them, like, is going to be wonderful. And that also helps with team building too, because that means any kind of buff you give him is going to just pop. But when it comes down to it, you could go ahead and give him Fury. You're not going to use him consistently to attack or defend, so that extra 6 damage that you're going to get afterwards doesn't matter. We're going to give him Luna. It's going to help him go time over time, and I'm assuming speed is the refinement here, so that does help him on initiation, and it will help him against several other matchups that have brave weaponry, like a brave weapon Effie or something like that. You know what? Let's go ahead and go into the rest of this here, into the DPT, Deltran's PvP threats, and take a look at the obituaries here. We're getting a lot less kills, but you know what? We're just so well defended. We don't have that many more defenses on enemy initiation, because we can't always handle the mages that are there, and there are a lot of relevant reds, which the DPT is filled with. However, it is good to note that you can handle a lot of different things when you're giving out so many different buffs, and you could do what you want with the seal. You could go ahead and give him an attack seal like what we did with the aggressive build. You can give him another buffing seal if you want, or if you just need him to be able to wall off things a little bit more. Close defense is pretty good. You have options here, you have flexibility. There's a lot of different ways you can hit him out. I will say a couple of honorable mentions. Close counter is neat on him. I don't recommend it. I don't think it goes far enough for how rare of a skill it is. If you're really in love with your Marth, yeah, you're going to enjoy using it. I don't think it's actually worthwhile, guys. So that's my recommendation. Pass on that. Also, if you were going to buff his defense anymore, you could switch to Bonfire instead of Luna. However, if you're not going above 33, or if it's not going above 33, period, from any other source, then just keep Luna. Bonfire will do about the same. There's a few hit points here and there that are different, but overall, I don't even think there's a difference in kills between DPT and vanilla listings, so that's that. Otherwise, hey, I'm ready to hit people with a cake server. I don't know about you. So there's our Groom, skinny as a broom. Sorry, rhyme that I used to know when I was a kid. Let me know what you think about this Marth. Are you still excited to use him? Are you excited to fodder him off? I would like to know what people are doing with Tempest Trial units anymore, because I'm just so on the fence about that to begin with, even if they seem to be as cool or as anticipated as Marth is. And also do me a favor, if you like your Fire Emblem information hot and fresh like Grandma's cookies, hit that subscribe button. I like numbers to validate me, please. No, I do appreciate everything you guys do for me. I appreciate all the support you guys give me, and I hope that I can return some of that value to you through these videos. So until next time, take it easy.